basketball team, and said that certain of their issues they cannot deal with without help, meaning without Congress. I disagree with that. Every other American business can help itself by stopping violating federal antitrust laws. It's just not that difficult. All the NCAA needs to do is take restrictions off of paying athletes and allow each institution to make their own decisions.
We'll get you out of here on this. We'll ask for a pretty brief answer if we could get one. The Athletic is reporting that the NCAA, which you just talked about, is considering growing the basketball tournament to 72 or 76 teams, partly to keep power conference teams from starting their own tournament. You can see an analogy with the SEC and the Big Ten in the football situation. Do you see this as a legitimate fear?
I do. I see it as a legitimate fear. The NCAA has to do whatever it takes to keep this together. And if the big conferences feel like they're not getting what they want, meaning more teams considered for the NCAA tournament and more access to the tournament, they could take off and start their own thing and start their own tournament, and the NCAA would cease to exist. That's a possibility. I don't think it's probable in the near future, but it's possible. I don't think they should expand the tournament, but it's not going to be the end of the world if they do. We'll consume it the same way. But I think they've got something really good here right now. It should be hard to get into. That's part of the beauty of it, in my view. And I don't look at it as a tournament that's about access. I look at it as a tournament that determines the national champion. I think it's a national championship event. But the middling teams in this big conference, they want more access. And history tells us they're going to get it.
Jay, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Jay, as always. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, the Oilers win one. They were on the verge of losing.
How concerned should the Mavericks be about their 3-game losing streak? I agree with every word.
Happy time, people. Happy 41st birthday, Mike McDaniel. The Dolphins coach is 20-14 in his 2 years at Miami. Made the playoffs both years, but went out in the first round to the Chiefs this past season and to the Bills the year before. McDaniel has built his offense around Tua and Tyreek Hill, and when it clicks, it's spectacular. The Dolphins put 70 on the Broncos this season. McDaniel doesn't come from a traditional football background. He was a wide receiver at Yale, which hasn't been a power since Walter Camp coached there in the late 80s, the 1880s. McDaniel started coaching under Mike Shanahan in Denver. He later worked with Kyle Shanahan in Houston, Washington, Atlanta, and San Francisco.
Tony, the Dolphins seem like they've been a lot, even though they're really good over the last, 30 years. They're entertaining in September and October, and then they start to run out of steam and maybe not tough enough.
Yeah.
And I know that's awful to say that about a football team, and maybe not resourceful enough. Maybe McDaniel can change that. Maybe he will.
Happy anniversary, Mike Tyson. On this day 39 years ago, an 18-year-old Tyson made his professional boxing debut in Albany, New York. Tyson's opponent was Hector Mercedes, who should have stayed in the car. Mercedes didn't get out of the first round. Tyson simply went forward, hit him with a barrage of hooks to the body that dropped Mercedes to one knee and made a TKO an easy call. Tyson quickly became heavyweight champion. His overall record was 50-6 with 44 wins by knockouts. 29 of those knockouts were in the first 2 rounds, including one over Michael Spinks, who was light heavyweight champion of the world. Wilbon, you know where I am on Tyson?
I know.
He's the most charismatic athlete I ever saw, and he is a hoot in The Hangover.
Tony, and as you know, we had the good fortune as sports writers for many years to be able to sit and actually exchange and have conversations with Mike Tyson. And people can think whatever they want. I'm just going to say to you, were those conversations not 100% of the time fascinating?
Always.
Great to talk to right now.
Much smarter than people were led to believe.
That's
yes. Right. Happy trails to what looked like a sure win for the Bruins. The Edmonton Oilers won their 5th straight game last night, going on the road to beat the elite Bruins 2-1 in overtime. The Bruins. About 30 seconds later, Leon Draisaitl got the tying goal. In overtime, Draisaitl got the winner off a pass from Connor McDavid. Quote, "I've been doing this for a long time with him," Draisaitl said. Quote, tough team to beat, tough building to play in. They play a playoff-style game every night. Good for us to stick with it," unquote.
As long as we're wishing happy trails in hockey, happy trails to the Blackhawks' 22-game road winless streak. They beat the Coyotes, which could be disastrous for a team looking to get the top pick in the draft for the second straight season. This kid, Macklin Celebrini, Tone, seems to be worth tanking for. I'm just saying.
Well, this is what you just want the number one pick year after year after year.
Yes, but
you had the
had 2
Bears
assists
with the number one pick. You know, the Bears had it 2 in a row. They traded out on one of them.
Yep.
Now you want it for the hockey. I'm sure you want it for the Bulls. Enough is enough.
Yes, no,
Why don't you
not
get
enough.
it for Northwestern? Why don't you get the number one pick? We're
Okay.
running out of show.
I'll take it.
Let's go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
The Suns beat the Nuggets in OT last night. Is that a big deal?
Yeah, Tony, because the Suns have the toughest record, toughest schedule left in the league. And to stay out of the play-in, you got to win some tough games. That's a big win last night. Mavericks lost their 3rd straight. Cause for concern?
Yeah, it is. Luka and Kyrie Irving were winning games. Now they've lost 5 out of 6. That is cause for concern. NHL leading Panthers acquired right winger Vladimir Tarasenko from the Senators. Is that significant?
Yeah, Tony, he was with the Blues when they won in 2019, a critical part of that team, and they're already on a roll, and now they add him. The Bills released former All-Pro safety Jordan Poyer. That's going to be a big thing on Instagram, but does it make sense to you?
They're releasing a lot of people on the defense. They have to get under the cap. This is what happens when you have a couple of good seasons and everybody makes money. Can they keep Stephon Diggs is what I want to know. Last one, U.S. women's soccer takes on Canada in a Gold Cup semi tonight. You were geeked for this last week. Who you got?
Tony, I got a front row seat and a clicker. I want to see this game. I'm leaving ball night for a while to go to that other ball, the soccer ball. I want to see this game. U.S. Canada.
All night. We're out of time. Try and do better the next time. David Sagador, happy birthday.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. Tony, you don't know what I was talking about Jordan Poyer and Instagram, do you? I didn't think you had the idea.
I don't. I don't follow Instaface.
And now, the Low Post.
Welcome to the Low Post podcast on a Tuesday morning.